Hello there, and welcome to another motorcycle log. I know what you're thinking. Why am I riding at night? And isn't it more dangerous to ride at night in kind of rural areas because the animals are more active? And the answer is yes, but I had a specific purpose in mind, and this could not be avoided. Going through, you can kind of see how even early in the morning, all the casinos are all lit up, trying to draw people in. One thing that I will not be able to show anyone is the night sky. The cameras just don't pick it up. But people just don't realize what the sky actually looks like when you get away from light pollution. That's really what the city does. Cities and urban centers do. They create light pollution. It drowns out a lot of stars that are actually able to be seen. But you can also sit out here and watch these peaceful sunrises. I had to make a short stop because I am headed back to Lake Tahoe. I just wanted to show off one spot where I didn't have quite enough time yesterday to kind of see. So I've come to Vista Point, Lake Tahoe, to just kind of reflect on what's happened. One, the ride's been fantastic. And if you were wondering why I was riding at night, well, the simple reason was a Good Samaritan found my top case and got it back to me. I thanked him, gave him a copy of the book, but it was kind of funny. When I first noticed that top case was gone, and I had lost, some of my stuff, the first thing I thought was, oh, this is it, it's over. That's over. I quit. But what I realized shortly after the adrenaline wear off was that it wasn't over. I had not lost anything important, but the choice I made to make this trip had simply just was going to continue, because it was easier to continue the trip than it was to try and stop it. And every choice I made from there was really already made for me. I just had to understand why I was making them. It's kind of weird. I now know the reason behind the Matrix movies, or at least their philosophy. Choices aside, I'm starting to think that, you get only so many choices and everything else just kind of cascades off there. But those kind of essential debates aside, we were moving on. From Lake Tahoe, we moved south. You could see as the forest and just kind of the ride just kind of progressed, it started to get better and better as you started to climb in elevation. Moving through the California countryside, I didn't know I was expecting a whole lot, but eventually I would find Highway 4. we are at one of the many parks that are in California. The ones that don't get all the attention. You can just look here at the scenic river that just flows. As you travel it, you see people just fishing, camping just on the side of it. It's absolutely amazing. And it has some of the best riding because, one, the roads are practically deserted because everybody else is at some of the bigger parks that have the name recognition. But still out here you can find your own piece of serenity. What a trip. What a trip. I also went through a couple towns. The towns that I went through were so quiet and peaceful. I don't even think they have a spot on the map. And people are sitting there with a town that has maybe 70 people, eating breakfast, watching everyone going by, nestled in the hills. Here.
You can see the rocks kind of jutting out and kind of making a great winding road for any motorcyclist to enjoy.
I'd just like to say to everyone who rides the highway, this is the kind of stuff you miss. This is the only kind of stuff you find by being a little more adventurous and getting off the beaten path. You know, I've done a number of great rides throughout the United States. This Highway 4 in California is up there with the best of them. It is definitely incredible. Well worth it. But let's see what's coming up further.
Up the winding road. One of the things you might notice is the lack of a guardrail. So you need to know what you're doing, because if you get caught staring off into the scenery, well, over the corner you go and it's a long way down.
Welcome to Lake... hell, I don't know the name. Just in the middle of nowhere. I look at my phone right now, it says no service. It's said that way for about at least the last 45 minutes. This is Get Lost in America. And this is California. And yet another vista point. You never really get tired of this. And it just keeps going and going. A lot of people constantly forget how big California is and that it extends quite a bit into the east. And it's there where you see all these kind of unique formations with the forests and landscapes. And yet they still keep coming, vista after vista. Incredible place to see. And this isn't even considered to be the most popular forest in the all of California. I'll sit down here for a while because they got a lot of birds of prey. Maybe I can catch a bald eagle or some other kind of hawk flying around.
Highway 4 was a fabulous ride, the whole time. But eventually all rides have to come to an end. And eventually coming out of the forest, we went back kind of into the more typical what people know of California. It gets more flat, it gets more dry. You can see this patterning of trees as we start to approach sea level and we start to get in the range of some of those cities that are on the west coast. I thank for anyone watching.